I've been searching for 8-inch culverts to go into the driveway for quite a while. I found these. This is sewer pipe. I was hoping to get water pipe, which is what that one blue one is. But it'll do. 4 of them are for somebody else, and all the rest of them are for the road at the property where the teeny trailer is going to go live. So this is our first day of actually working on the property. I got a bunch of, well, it's not used, it's old pipe that I got for a bargain, of course. And I'm kind of backed up as far as I can go. We're dragging them around with a 4-wheeler and dropping them where we need to put pipes. Like this water spot that's right behind the trailer, we'll get these 2 white ones. And the goal is to have a trail that we can walk year round without having to wear boots. And 2, we got to get the mini house down this trail. I also picked up this 36-inch steel pipe for a song. It looks pretty rusted out, but it's 1/2-inch wall, so there's a lot of steel left. And we need this for back in the back of the property. There's a corrugated culvert about this size that is in the process of collapsing. So I grabbed this because it was available. I'll probably make this a separate video because this is a whole different deal on all the plastic pipes. So with a borrowed truck, a borrowed trailer, and a borrowed rental account, I got a mini hoe. I picked it up north of town, and because I was north of Baton Rouge, the GPS lady sent me on a back road that was curvy, narrow, no shoulder, and freaking cliffs on each side. And I was a nervous wreck, even though I was only going 40 miles an hour. I just don't like pulling heavy trailers. But I made it safe and sound to the property, and no issues whatsoever. The truck really pulled like a dream. It was all me. So this is the future home of the teeny house camper thing. I'm working on the road. When we first bought the property, this little area here was eroded so bad where the 2 tires go that I couldn't drive my truck down it because it would drag in the middle. Now my youngest son and I brought a whole bunch of broken concrete and put it on both sides, and that made it kind of drivable, but sometimes the concrete would roll out from under your tire and be a problem. And then I got a bunch of terracotta clay bricks and broke them up, put them on here. That got it a little bit better. And then my older son paid for somebody to come drop some stone. That made it better. And then yesterday I rented a mini hoe, and I really got it looking a whole lot better. And now we just need a load of stone because this is a pretty steep slope, so we're going to get erosion every time it rains. So this first area is ready for the teeny home to be pulled down. Let's see if I can hold the camera and drive too. So there was like a little turnaround over here to the right, and I dug it out a bunch more yesterday trying to get some dirt to fix all the ruts. So this part of the road was okay. Now the first time my wife and I came here, it was early spring and it was very wet, very muddy. Now it's summertime, it's dry and very hard, but I'm trying to get the road into shape for the next time we have a winter, that hopefully the road will be drivable. I'm trying to knock the bumps off and do it quick enough so that we have a summertime to grow some grass, and the grass will make this drivable come next winter. Now right here, you see the white pipe sticking out? Look at all the deer flies. Woo, it's gonna be a bad one. Right here, there was it looked like somebody tried to dig for a pipe with like a grater box or something. It was a deep rut and a big hill after it. So that prevented my truck from going out here because I don't have a 4-wheel drive truck. So yesterday I kind of dug it out and I put a 6-inch pipe in there, and it's all good. The dirt is really dry, so it's not compacting well. We need a rain or two to really get this stuff to settle. And I just came along with the I got a mini hoe, and they don't grade dirt very well, but I did knock off a bunch of the bumps that were in the middle of the road with the box. And here we had a rut across the road where water had been going over the road, and it made a big old nasty muddy hole. So I've got an 8-inch pipe going under the road here, And then I dug a ditch so the water can go follow the road on the left side. And this is the area I want to set the mini hoe. I want to set the teeny home. Oh, look at the freaking deer flies. This is gonna be terrible. This is one of the prettiest areas on the property. There's more prettier areas down by the river, but it's a little low. And I'm thinking about setting my teeny house right here, clearing out these little pine trees. I don't want to be under these trees because these trees fall down sometimes when we have storms. I don't want to get smushed. But anyway, this whole area is a little low and it's a little flat. It didn't drain well. When we came our first visit, it was standing water kind of everywhere. So I'm digging a ditch so the water coming off of this high area will hit this ditch and go this way. And we're gonna cross the road with a culvert. I'm not sure where, but you can see where it was soft. People have rutted it up. And once you get on this side of the road, we have good slope that way. It drains it really well that way. So at some point, I'm gonna dig. I'm gonna dig a ditch as far as practical and then cross the road. And I may put 2 culverts across the road because we're probably talking a pretty good bit of water. Anyway, I'm gonna get on that noisy little track and start digging. I'm not gonna film all that because it's just a bunch of noise. This is really creepy. See all those little bugs flying around? These are deer flies and they bite. As soon as you pull onto the property, they start swarming the truck. But when I go to get out, which I don't really want to do, they, for the most part, leave me alone. They're attracted to the truck for some reason, especially these side mirrors. I don't know whether it's the warmth from the sun or what, but it's creepy. Look at the deer flies swarming. Creepy, creepy. Yesterday, I dug a lot of ditch and I was fixing to shut it down for the day. And I was wrestling this piece of old rusty pipe and get it out the way. And I got crooked in the ditch and the track came off of the mini hoe. It's on the back sprocket, but it's not on the roller in the front. So have to see if we can get it back on there. I'm gonna pick up the machine and set this side on a log so this will be up in the air. My fisherman shirt keeps the sun off my arms and the back of my neck. And it's fairly comfortable, but it also does a good job of keeping the flies off the back of my neck. So between this, wearing my hat and my earmuffs, I don't get molested too badly with the bugs. Once in a while somebody will fly in my face, but it's not too often, it's not too bad. It's not like when you first drive up, that's so scary. Tracks on, I think, almost everything that has tracks nowadays. They're kept tight by a hydraulic cylinder, and the cylinder has grease in it, and you use a grease gun to tighten up the tracks. So I knew this, and I knew I needed to loosen the tracks. And I had a wrench that fit the grease zert where you put the grease in, so I took it off, and the grease did not come out. There's another fitting behind the grease zert that is apparently the check valve, and I had my wrench set with me, but I did not have a wrench to fit that thing. So you know, I'm an hour and 15 minutes from home once I get to the road. So I thought, well, it came off under tension, I should be able to push it back on under tension. Now, this being a mini hoe, the bucket doesn't not actually let you touch the track. I guess that's by design because the tracks are rubber, and if you did a boo-boo, you could tear the track. So I grabbed some logs that I thought were more or less the right length, and I was going to try to manhandle the track back into position, thinking it came off, it ought to go back on. And I spent probably 45 minutes of frustration
Then I tried to put a little, like a 3-inch round log on between the top of the track and the frame and try to roll the track into position, and that didn't work. So finally I was about to give up, and I realized in the back seat I had the my wrench for my trailer tire lug nuts, a T-wrench, I guess. I'm not sure what you call it. And I got it out, and somehow miraculously that wrench fit the big part of the grease check valve. I got it out, and just like magic, the tension came off of the tracks, and played with the sticks a little bit more to get it on there, and finally it got so loose I was actually able to pick the front of the track up by hand and set it back on that front roller. And then I just needed to put grease in it to tighten the track back up, and of course my grease gun didn't want to work, and I spent another 20 minutes fritzing with the grease guns, which I don't have a whole lot of history with grease guns. But I was able to replace the grease cartridge, make a big mess, get some tension, and get the tracks back snugged up. And we were back in business.
Okay, so I took the grease zerd out, nothing happened, and I've been fighting with it for a little while, and I gave up, but I didn't have a wrench to fit that big part that you can see, but I did have a wrench for my trailer lug nuts, and one of them actually fit, and I loosened it just a little bit. All this grease squirted out, and I got some slack in it now, so I'm going to try again to push it on there with the bucket and this board, or this piece of limb. I think this might work this time. Okay, it's working. Well, I lost an hour of my precious cool morning time and some frustrations, but we should be back in business. Okay, let's start over. Good morning. Yesterday I had a pretty productive day. I dug a long ditch on the side of the road, which is going to do two things, I think. It's going to have a place for the water to go besides sitting on the road, and it generates a lot of soil for us to make the road higher. Unfortunately, it is so dry right now, it's just dust, and you can't really work. It's hard to do much with dust, but we're getting there, so I'm going to keep on digging. I'm not sure when the next culvert is, because there's one right here that I just put in that I lost the end of, but it's down there somewhere. Here's the end right here. So I'm gonna clean up this last 10 feet and just keep digging the ditch, and probably see where the old road used to be, and it's a water hole. Probably reroute the road off to the side so I don't have to deal with that, and probably cut a ditch from the water hole back into the woods where the water hole will drain, because I got real good slope just right up there in the woods. And well, it's another day of digging. Driving back and forth every day, fuel's becoming something to think about, because it's freaking $4 a gallon. The diesel for the mini hoe is 5 something a gallon. It's burning about 7 gallons a day, so that's not too bad. But I have an epiphany here. If I slow my truck down and set my cruise on 66 miles an hour, I get an average of over 26 miles per gallon. This is my 3rd trip, so I'm pretty sure that's a good number. And it takes me about 8 minutes longer to get home. So I know I'm irritating some people by going slow, but I'm in the slow lane, and I'm running with the Walmart trucks, and I'm saving money, getting better fuel mileage. The Pope will be happy with me. Friday morning, 6 o'clock. Cloudy, chance of rain. I want to bring the trailer home this weekend. If I get stuck on this road and it starts raining, there's no way my truck's going to make it up this road pulling that big trailer. Although I like having my truck next to me when I'm working because all my stuff's in it, but I better go down, unload what I have to have for the day, hook up the trailer, and get it up here on the highway. So if it does rain, I can get out without getting stuck. So I'm down the road at my parking spot. I've unloaded my fuel tanks, my little plastic bucket that's got my lunches and snacks in there, and my water and everything else I'm gonna take up to the highway. Well, my gloves and my earmuffs. Fuel. When I got this thing, it wasn't quite full. It's supposed to be, but it was between 3/4 and full. And I ran it a half a day at full throttle, and the fuel level seemed to drop pretty steep. A little concerning because diesel is $5 a gallon. So the next day I throttled back a little bit. I didn't run it wide open, and I put 6 gallons in it, and it kind of maintained for the day. And ever since then I've been putting 5.5 or 6 gallons, and it's good for the day, just not wide open. And it doesn't seem to, production wise, it doesn't seem to make any difference to me. But basically I'm digging a ditch on the side of the road so when it rains the water won't stand on the road, and where there's a dip I'm putting a culvert so the water can go under the road. I've got 10 of these pipes. I think I'm only going to use 8 of them. Okay, so I'm going to back my truck out of here, go hook up to the trailer, and bring it up front. I can't do it. I've got the 2-inch ball. The trailer takes a 2 5/16. Dang it. Oh well, I might go ahead and pull it up and get it close. Shoot. Oh well, it's not happening. This is my second to last pipe trench on this side of the power line. So I started over here and I dug down to natural ground, which is really low on this side of the road. You can tell by the ferns. And I started digging a ditch to put the pipe in. You can't see it because I'm on top of it. And then I turned around and started digging from that side, because you see I can't really back up into that patch of green unless I do a lot of demo. And I'm digging, and now you can see the trench I started with, my new trench. When I connect them together, I'll drop the pipe in, take a look at it, and hopefully it'll be all right, and then I'll backfill. I'm trying to keep the crappy dirt that's got all those sticks and everything in it from the less crappy dirt that's got less sticks in it. So I'll backfill with the less crappy dirt. So that's it. Pipe's in the hole, it's sitting pretty flat. I'm gonna backfill it and clean up the 2 ends and move forward. Now I'm putting one here because this is a low spot in the road, and the water was coming from both ways. It's sitting here, sitting on top of the road, and it was a mud hole. So that's what I'm trying to eliminate. So the pipe is in and backfilled. Compaction's probably pretty pitiful because the stuff's too dry and fluffy. It doesn't really compact well, and it's all full of vegetation. So counteract that, I'm making a mound over each pipe, so as time goes by and it settles, it won't have a hole. Now I'm going to dig a ditch from here to the top of the hill. Probably take me 2 hours. And there's one more pipe to set on the other side of the hill before we get to the power lines. And after the power lines, the terrain changes dramatically. Just took a little break, walked the track hole back to my little rest area, filled it up with fuel. How about the little deal that you got to have to hold up the hood while you're filling with fuel? It's kind of scary, actually. Somebody broke the hydraulic cylinder. So full of fuel, full of water, had some cookies. Let's go get back at it.
So we had a big storm on Friday afternoon where I got my truck stuck, and I got stuck and I fell in the mud and all that other stuff. So I didn't come Saturday, and this is Sunday morning. And in a way the rain helped because I can see my ditches, and I can see what I need to do to make the water flow to the low point, because the first go around the ditch is kind of lumpy. I've gone back on almost all of them and fine-tuned them. Even without the water, you can tell that some of them need to go over again, and so it's very, very repetitive. I've been doing this for, this is Wednesday night. I got the machine last Tuesday, so for 5 days I've been doing this. Reach, curl, pull, throw the dirt. Reach, down, curl, throw the dirt. Over and over and over and over. But I'm getting there. It's finite. There's an end to it. Somewhere there's an end, and I'm going to get there. Got the machine ready for a month, but I don't think it's going to take that long. I don't think I'll live that long. I'll put a bullet in my head if I have to do this for 3 more continuous weeks.
Been digging and digging and digging, and I've got to this point here. Had to take out a lot of these little trees because I needed some more width on the road. This is one of the worst spots in the road as far as holding water. And this is the last spot on this side of the power lines. So I'm going to put a pipe right here. It's a low spot. And we got a good slope over here, so the water will drain this ways. If I can just get it, keep it from sitting on the road. I got a big pile of dirt right there I can pull from. Yeah, this is going good. This will be my last one before I get to the big Bertha, the big pipe. So this one's still wet because it's totally in the shade, but it's just like all the other ones. The other ones just dried up because they were in the sun. Now, I know it sounds silly, but one of the biggest challenges is I don't have any dirt. There's trees and there's real estate, but if I go trying to dig for dirt, I end up with 3 times as much vegetables as I do soil. So I was lucky. This last little area, I really wanted to build up a whole stretch about 6 inches. I needed a lot of soil. And there was a couple of hills, one on each side. And I got in the trees and dug them out, and that's our soil. It's far from ideal, but it's what we got. Lots of vegetables in there. I pull sticks for off and on for a long time. Still pulling sticks. Okay, that gave me a pretty good bit of soil, and it's very dry, which I need because there's some wet stuff underneath all this stuff. So all I need to do now is level it out. I think I have enough soil. Now, leveling with this machine is tricky. The blade does not tilt. It's fixed to the frame. It goes up and down, but it doesn't tilt. So if you're pushing dirt and you want to get some on the right and it's on the left, you're kind of screwed. You can't do it. You got to stop, back up, use the bucket, and put the dirt where you want. So back here with the bucket, I very carefully made a flat spot. Well, it's leaning this way. That's what I wanted. So if I get the machine on the flat spot and push, the blade will be pushing the angle that I want unless I hit a bump or a hole. Then I got to back up and use the bucket and fix it. But by getting this flat spot, I can push and get a fairly decent grade with a machine that's really not intended for grading. The blade on this thing is really for stabilization. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so the pipe is in the ground here. I'm just covering the pipe, but I want to raise the whole area about 6 inches. So I've spent quite a bit of time right here trying to claim soil out of the jungle and pull the stumps out of the soil, and then trying to get it graded fairly well so it won't hold water. I'll be right back where I was before if I leave it too lumpy. But I think I got it in the end. I got a pretty good job right here. And this is better soil. It's a little damper than the dusty stuff further up the hill for some reason. I don't know why. So remember when I said I need to get my truck and trailer up to the highway before it starts raining? And then I realized I didn't have the right size ball. Or my son said he'd bring me the right size ball, which totally messed up my brain, and I left the truck not at the highway, even though I had the right size ball. And then it started raining, and of course I got stuck bad. I used a mini hoe to unattach the trailer, and I used a mini hoe to yank my truck around and roll it up to the highway with nobody driving it. And I had to keep getting in and out of the truck to steer it, and I fell down in the mud twice, and it was a mess. But
got the truck out, got the trailer out, got it all hooked up, and life goes on, and I keep making questionable decisions, so I don't know what's going on with my brain. Apparently not much. So as long as I have this mini hoe on rent out here at the property, I'll be here every day I can, and that means that progress on the teeny home that's sitting in my driveway has pretty much come to a stop. So thanks for watching. I know this is a little different, but this is what I'm doing, so this is what I can record.